Everyone, it's me, Lauren Bersaglio, and I'm here with another Sunday video blog. Today I'm going to be talking about moving forward in your recovery and what that means. Very often, I've talked about relapses in previous videos. Very often when we experience things like slip-ups, relapses, even if we're just going through times when we're tempted to engage in some of our disordered behaviors, we tend to be really hard on ourselves and to start thinking that we're failing at something or that we're getting weaker. And very often we kind of see it as taking steps backwards. So we feel like all of a sudden, we were progressing and now all of a sudden we're going back, we're moving back to where we were. And that's a very common kind of reaction. And people get really scared by that because when you're in recovery, you remember where you were before recovery, or even in earlier stages of your recovery. You remember where you were, and that was a very dark place, and that's a place you don't want to revisit. And so the thought that you're moving backwards and that you potentially are going back there to where you were is incredibly frightening. But what I want to kind of get across today, or the message I want to send, is that you can't move backwards. And a lot of people might disagree with me on this, but let me explain. You can't unlearn the things that you've learned in recovery. And you can't unlearn the things that you've learned about yourself in recovery. You can't unlearn the very practical things, the tips and any kind of worksheets you've gone through, workbooks, things like that. You can't unlearn that stuff. And you can't unlearn the things you've learned about yourself. And you can't, once you have that desire to change and that desire to fight for your life, you don't lose that. Even in the days when maybe you feel like you've lost it, you've made that decision that you want to be alive, and you can't lose that either. And so you don't really ever take steps backwards. I honestly believe that we're always moving forward. Sometimes we might stop. Sometimes we might remain a bit stagnant. And no, that's not somewhere we want to be. You don't want to just be stagnant. I don't ever want to be stagnant. I don't see a finish line. I see myself always moving forward, always progressing for the rest of my life even. And so no, stagnant isn't a place you want to be in, and it is a place that you can get stuck in, but you can't move backwards. So one thing, the reason that this is kind of important to understand is because as soon as you realize that, it becomes a lot less frightening for you. So for me, when I felt like I was moving backwards and I was scared because I thought I could go back to the place that I had been, when I kind of realized that, I didn't actually believe that, and that everything is moving forward, even when you're relapsing or when you're experiencing slip-ups, and I've talked about this, you're still learning. You're learning about some of your weaknesses, you're learning about your triggers, and you're learning how to overcome them, and you come out stronger in the end. So that can't possibly be moving backwards. It's still moving forwards. Any trial I have, any bad day that I have, as long as I take that day and I seize it and I learn from it and I push through, that's moving forwards, not backwards. And so I really encourage you, the next time that you have a bad day, or if you experience slip-ups, or if you've gone through a relapse, or if you're going through a relapse right now, don't trick yourself into thinking that you're moving backwards. You still know everything that you've learned in recovery, and you can still use those skills. You still have those skills. You can't unlearn those skills. And you still know the things that you learned about yourself in recovery, and you still have that strength that you gained from recovery, and you're going to come out even stronger because of this. Recovery is a journey, just like life is a journey. And it sounds cliche, but it's true. It's a journey, and in a journey you are constantly moving forward, even if you go through a rough patch. So I really encourage you right now, especially if you're going through a rough patch, don't be scared. Take it seriously, yes. In a previous video I talked about, move the couch, patch the roof. So take it seriously, address the issue because you don't want to stay in that place. But just know that you are still moving forward and you can still learn from it, you can get stronger, and you're not a failure because of it. I hope that you have found this encouraging, and I hope that you will continue to move forward. If you find yourself in a bit of a stagnant place right now, I encourage you to keep moving forward because it's so much better. Remember, like one of my favorite songs says, you know, we want to thrive, not just survive. I will talk to you guys really soon. Ciao.